This isn't about health. This is about time. More time to do the things that you want to do, more efficient time throughout the day. And by focusing on time, we will absolutely improve our health. And this is where the ticket is, the ticket to living a much better and longer life. My name's Grant Hutchby. I am the owner, founder, whatever you want to call it, of Longevity Masters. And this show is built to help as many people as possible reclaim as many optimal years of life as possible, so that you can spend more time with your loved ones, do the things that you want to do, and achieve the things that you want to achieve. And that is the whole purpose of everything that I'm doing at the moment. I have been an entrepreneur for almost 10 years now. I had a long business career, and what I want to do is I want to bring everything that I've learned over the years, especially in health and fitness. I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story today, how I've got to where I've got to at the moment and some of the transitions that we've made along the way, but also talk about my system that I've built to ultimately help people reclaim as much time as we possibly can, because time ultimately is the asset that we're talking about here. Remember, you can always get more money, but you can never get any more time until now. If you just follow along and watch the episodes that I've been putting out, there have been loads of content before this one, and I would really, really love for you to come on the journey with me, because I'm still learning myself. This whole purpose is, yes, to help as many people as possible through what I've learned over the years, but also to help me get to where I want to get to with my journey. And we are always constantly learning, evolving, growing. And that's the whole point of this journey. So here we go. A little bit of my story. So when I was in my early 20s, I was a teenager. From teenager to early 20s, I partied my heart out and did everything under the sun. Girls, drugs, everything. I quit my sports, didn't want to do that anymore. And I was partying, making money. Yeah, absolutely. I used to go to work and make money. But I woke up one morning and I wasn't able to breathe. And that helped me find a path with regards to health and fitness. And I decided to become a personal trainer and sports injury therapist. And that was my first introduction into health and fitness. Actually, originally, before I became a personal trainer and sports injury therapist, I did have an interest in the gym. My dad pushed me to go to the gym, and because he never did, and he wanted me to, because it's something that he'd always wanted to do. So he pushed me to go to the gym. So I did go to the gym for a couple of years before I became a personal trainer and sports injury therapist. But it was ultimately the waking up and not being able to breathe that pushed me over the edge. And I did that for a few years and went through a lot of learning and learned a lot about how to maximize health and performance, but wasn't really focused on biological age at the time, which is where I'm focused at the moment. So what happened then was I did that for a few years. I met my first wife and essentially wasn't earning the money that I needed to earn to support the family. So I went back to what I knew how to do best, which was sales and management and working in telecommunications. So I went back to that and grew my career there. And as you know, get married, have kids. I let myself go. I forgot my fitness. I got fat and ended up not enjoying my life. And it probably was a combination of lots of different things. However, I wasn't happy. Obviously, she wasn't happy. And we ended up getting a divorce, and I moved 250 miles across the country away from my kids. That had a huge impact on my health because it made me turn everything around. So I had my first incident where I couldn't breathe. Then I had my second instance of getting divorced, which made me turn it around. That was about 11 years ago now. So 11 years ago, that's when I got divorced and left my ex-wife. I still go across the country for my kids every other weekend. They come and see me. Got a great relationship with my kids. So it's all good. And I met my new wife, my wife that I'm going to have forever, Kay, who I love out so dearly and has supported me in everything that I do, and moved to Wales. And that's where I decided to turn my life around, become the person that I really wanted to be. And I grew my career in the corporate world, got to a level where I was either going to go up to, CEO level probably and work towards someone else's dream, but I decided to build my own dream and became an entrepreneur about just under 10 years ago, about 9 years ago now. And at the beginning just skyrocketed. And what happened there was I grafted. I was looking good, feeling good. So I grafted hard, ended up building a amazing business, which we still have to this day. Got lots of other businesses around as well. And what I did was, in the process of building my business, I broke my back. And that taught me how to deal with injury and taught me how to get over some of the complexities with the human body. So I got my foundation learning when I was a personal trainer. I turned my health and fitness around from being fat and ugly and slow, which was when I got divorced. And then a couple of years later, I learned how to deal with a major injury. And it wasn't a small injury. I first ruptured 3 ligaments in my ankle, and that caused a consequential injury in my back. And then that caused a huge sciatic pain, which took me about 2 years to get rid of the pain, and it was difficult to get through. And I can't stress enough, when you have an injury like that, how you need to structure yourself right to get the result that you're looking for. So as an example, if you've got this ambition without structure fails. And I had to put lots of structure in my life to not only nurse the injury out, but prevent the injury from coming back again. And then we got married, we moved house, we started up a business, and everything started to come together. We made a lot of money over a 2 or 3 year period. And this is my second round of learning what losing your health and fitness can do again. So because I got a lot of money, had more money than I ever had in my life, I enjoyed it a bit too much. And we went on expensive holidays. We did loads of stuff to the house. We bought a new house and we got lovely cars and we went to expensive restaurants. And yeah, it didn't do great on my health because I was drinking a lot more, expensive alcohol, expensive food, expensive takeaways. And I let myself go again. And funnily enough, my back pain came back. And that was the sign that I needed to start turning it around, because we had businesses, we were losing a lot of money because we were spending a lot of money, and we then had a cash flow issue. So combine that with my back and everything, it was a bit of a shock. Then I realized it was because I let myself go. So that was the point where I had to turn myself around and also learn how to get over my sort of need to enjoy what I thought I'd earned. That was the learning curve. So I not only had to deal with injuries coming back, but I had to deal with cash flow issues within the business as well. And that pushed me in a direction that was my journey to where I'm at now. And that was about 3 years ago. And I started going down the journey of learning as much as I can about how to improve myself, both from a professional perspective, but also from a personal, physical perspective. And it took me down the road of biological age, down the road of longevity. And I was been very into lots of different people. So Andrew Huberman, Dr. Peter Attia, Dr. David Sinclair, David Asprey, Gary Brecker, Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins was the original person that really got me going, UPW and all that. And all these people, and studying these people, studying the work, studying the science, really taught me about exactly what we need to do to keep ourselves young, vibrant, and able to do the things that we want to do. Because I don't know if you're the same as me, but when you get over 35, you start feeling older than you did when you were in your 20s. Things just don't happen the same way with your body. It takes longer to recover from things. And there's reasons for that, which I explain in my previous episodes that I do. So I started feeling older. And this is where the midlife entrepreneur starts getting burnt out. The midlife executive, the midlife high net worth individual starts getting burnt out because they've built a really good business, but with the sacrifice of their body. And I realized that health wasn't a side game. It was a foundation. And you can't always just push harder. You need to learn the rhythms of your body. And I've got a question for everyone out there is, do you actually know how old you are biologically? Do you actually know that number? What if you're aging faster than you think and you don't even know whether you're doing it? Think of it this way. Your body is like a business. Think about how you run a business. You track the KPIs, you make strategic plans, you manage the staff, you make sure everyone turns up on time, leaves on time, and does the right things when they are on shift. There's lots of other things you do with the business, but in essence, we manage the teams, we make sure people do what they're supposed to be doing, we make strategic, we monitor the KPIs, because what you don't measure, you can't manage, but what you do measure, you can manage, right? So your body is just exactly the same way as your business. If you don't know how everything's performing in your body, if you don't know when different hormones should turn up at certain times and what those hormones should do and how to create the right environment for those hormones. Because remember, you've got to create the right environment in a business as well for it to flourish. If you don't make a strategic plan about your body, that is important as well. Now, remember this, and this is something that you really do need to realize. I've set up multiple businesses. Yes, some have done great, some haven't done so great. Maybe even a lot of them haven't done that great, right? And some have done fantastic. But the point is, I've set up multiple businesses. And when one fails, you can park that one, wind it up, and then start another one. But you only ever get one body. You get one chance with your body. And yes, the first part of our lives, teenage years, 20s, possibly even early 30s, going into your 40s, we enjoy. And we enjoy the different things about life. And we have these experiences that teach us about those things, but it also teaches us the negative things about those things as well, right? And what I'm trying to help people realize is that those different things that you've done in your early years, that's great. You've got those experiences. But now in your 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, you don't need those experiences anymore because you've already experienced them. Now you need to think about you and how long this machine that you have is going to last. And not only how long it's going to last, but how long it's going to perform at its optimum level. And you can have it performing at its optimum level for a very, very long time. Do you need alcohol? Do you need certain stimulants? Do you need drugs? Do you need to stay up late every single night? Do you need to eat ultra processed food? That's the thing that I'm trying to tell everyone is if you think you need those things, you're not in the right place. However, if you think I'm still doing these things, but I don't really need to do them, I can have a good time without them, you are in the right place to move forward. Because what you've essentially got is you've just got a mismanaged biology, and your peak performance is the cost. And your body is either compounding for you or against you. And I can't stress enough how we need to start transitioning from treating our body like a side hustle to treating it like our main business. And decline, remember, is quiet until it isn't, because suddenly it creeps up on you. So I have built a system. I have built a system to manage our biology effectively, but in a very, very simple way based on conclusive science. And everyone knows, well, you might not know, but everyone knows in general what you need to do to have a healthy body, to set your body up for performing at its best. You need to move more, exercise, train, eat the right stuff, eat real food. You need to sleep well, right? You need to recover. Everyone knows these things, but it's not just about what you do. This is the thing that I've realized. It's about when you do it. Timing is everything. And I can't stress that enough. I've got a system that teaches people the exact timing to do everything. And I can't go through it all now, but there is an optimum time for everyone to do everything that has flexibility. I'm trying to simplify absolutely everything and help people realize that there's a way of putting everything into their rhythm and their routine. Because once you're aware of what it is you need to do and when you need to do it. Then it's just about timing it into your structure of your day and your routine and your lifestyle. And then that's where your body gets true rhythm. And I teach people the exact sequence of what to do. So why do people do the right things but get no results? Because their timing is wrong. What if it's not what you're doing, but when you're doing it? And if you're going to leave with something, that's the thing that you leave with, because you can go away and just ask anyone. Well, ask any AI, what's the best time to do this for me? And it will tell you. But, and there's a big but, one thing I've realized about AI is it doesn't know everything, and it sometimes trips up. I've caught AI out a lot of times. So don't believe everything that Chat GPT tells you. Sometimes you need an expert. And I've spent the last 20 years learning about health and fitness, and the last 3 years basically learning all of the science when it comes to longevity, biology, physiology. And no, I'm not a doctor, but I am an entrepreneur. I've been through lots of things in my life, and I am now ready to help other people reclaim as much life as they possibly can. So the system, it's very simple. It's in a pyramid structure. You can't move on to the next level until you go through it. First, we fix the foundation, and that's all about energy, sleep, recovery, getting the foundations in place so that your body is in a natural rhythm to have the best energy that it possibly can. That's number one. Number two is the next layer of the pyramid, which is the clean section, which is all about stimulating growth. This is about getting your system into a place where it's ready for growth, and then giving it the stimulus so that it can grow, so that it can adapt. How you give it the stimulus to your internal system, which is like your cardiovascular system, your VO2 max, and then how we build our muscles to protect us externally. And that will give you the stimulus and the adaptation that you need to really put your age on the right trajectory. So that's the second layer. The third layer is the build cycle. And building is all about compounding. It's taking all that energy and all that stimulus and putting it together and compounding it so that it takes you to a whole new level. And then the last part of the pyramid is reflection. So it's all about looking at the numbers. All the way through the system, we're looking at the numbers, but it's bringing all those numbers together over a quarterly period, reviewing them, looking at all the insights, clinic level, so longevity clinic level insights, and then figuring out a plan for your next cycle. So you can see this is similar to a business. If you think about the foundations as like your operations, so got to get your operations right before you start scaling the company. Then you've got the next bit, which is scaling the company. So you've got the growth, the stimulating the growth, which is a bit like your marketing department. That stimulates the growth. Then you've got your compounding, which is a bit like your sales department. That's realizing the growth that you've stimulated. And then lastly, you've got your finance department, which is the reflection, the data, the planning, and all that stuff. So you can see how that sort of ties into the business. And that's the pyramid structure that we work off. And within that structure, I have figured out exactly what's the best time to do everything. And what we focus on is we focus on basically the 3 cycles of your body, which is fix, clean, build, 6 rhythms. So examples of some rhythms that you would have heard of: circadian rhythm, your neurological rhythm, your ultradian rhythm. You've even got an infradian rhythm. So there's 6 rhythms, and then you've got hormones. So we look at 12 hormones that are essentially like staff, right? They are the hormones that come in and do the job that they need to do to help the rhythm within your body work the way that it should work, right? So as an example, you want cortisol in the morning, which is like a performance hormone, and not cortisol in the evening. So you need to spike it in the morning and low in the evening. And if you have it in the evening, then it's called like a stress hormone. What you want in the evening is you want hormones like melatonin to help you go to sleep. So this is all the stuff that we talk about, and all of it is about timing and sequence. So you can't, would you scale a business that is broken? No. You've got to get all those different sections right. You've got to get operations, marketing, sales, and finance all working right together so that you have a good functioning business. It's the same with your body. So again, if you can't measure it, you can't master it. You can't manage it. And it's very, very simple. So I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to help people reclaim as much optimal years as we possibly can. And I've got a goal. Over the next 5 years, I want to reclaim 10,000 years of optimal life. 10,000 years of optimal life. And before I die, I want to reclaim 1 million. And that's the legacy that I want to leave. And longevity is legacy. Longevity is the highest form of providing that you can do for your family, because I know what it feels like to provide for your family financially. It's something I've had to do ever since I've had kids. And my kids are, 12, 14, 15, 23, and we've got 2 grandkids. So that I know what it's like to have to provide financially for my kids. But one thing I've realized is the one thing that your kids want more than money, and your wife or other family members, whatever, the one thing that they want more than money is you. They want you to be around, to be present. So if you're with them in the room, be with them in the room. And focusing on your longevity will give you just that. And I can't stress that enough, that longevity is the highest form of providing. And I believe that within 12 weeks, behaviorally, you can put yourself into a trajectory to be at least 10 years younger than what you are right now. Because ultimately, it's your behaviors that is going to get you the life that you want, and the energy that you want, and the money that you want. Because you'd be surprised, when you start focusing on you and your health, everything else gets better. I've seen it so many times in my life as well. When I fixed my health, a lot of other things had fixed themselves. Like 11 years ago, when I got divorced and changed my health around, I more than doubled my wage within a 2-year period. So fixing your longevity, getting yourself on the right trajectory will absolutely change everything in your life, not just make you look better or thinner or less fat. It's not about that. It's not about losing 20 pounds. It is about having more optimal years on this earth, doing the things that you want to do. Simple. To live better, longer, to add more years to your life, but more importantly, more life to your years. And that's why I've created this system. But more importantly, because this system is really only for people that want to work directly with me. And I'll be telling people all the information. It's all on my podcast, on my YouTube channel. You can look at it whenever you want, right? I've given you all the information, but the execution is very, very different. And that's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to work directly with me, and that's absolutely fine. But what I have created is I've created a behavioral diagnostics quiz that looks at 3 platforms of aging. And we've got something within my system called the Bio-Age Index. Now, it calculates your biological age, but an index that indexes a number of platforms to give you that biological age. We've got a number of ways of measuring our age. We've got our chronological age, which is fine, but not very good measure. You've got your wearable devices. So I've got a couple here. They measure your age as well. Measures your fitness age, or your functional age. Then you've got your physical age, which is like your metabolic age that you get from body pod scales and gym scales, and some health assessments like Blue Crest, they gives you a metabolic or physical age. Then you've got the gold standard of your cellular age, which is like an epigenetic test. And then we've got a few other things that we measure as well. But we measure all these things and we make it into one age score. And that's the thing, is there's always something missing from each of those age scores that the other one doesn't have. We've taken everything into consideration. We've developed an age score that is unified. And this is the first age score that is unified that I've seen anywhere done. They might do it at longevity clinics, which you pay thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds for, but I've not seen it anywhere that's available. And the test that I've created takes into consideration all of those platforms and the behaviors that drive those platforms, aging platforms, forwards. And I've made it totally free. So if you want to get that anytime, there's no commitment, no nothing. All you got to do is put your name and email address in. You can find out what your trajectory is based on scientific evidence on all of those platforms of aging. And if you come out higher than you should, that's a good reason to have a look at it. But also, it's going to give you some tangible things that you can do to move your age in the right direction. And if you go through the age test, You get your behavioral age out, and that will tell you if you continue those behaviors, this is your trajectory. This is how many years older than you'll be, or how many years younger than you'll be on your actual age. And if you go on there and do it, I would like to know exactly how you found it. If there's any improvements that you think we can make, feel free to let us know. But everyone should know what their biological age is, but their true biological age. That's why we call it the Bio Age Index. So feel free to do it. Share it with anyone you like. It's totally free. Anyone can do it. And I just want as many people to understand where they're actually at behaviorally. And if you ever need anything, we're always here. Please let us know. And you just don't want to guess your future. You want to measure it. And just think, what happens if you do nothing for the next 5 years? How much are you going to age? Are you going to age faster than you should? Or are you going to age better than you should? Are you going to go in reverse or are you going to go in fast forward? That's the question. Remember, age isn't a number, it's a score. So if you want to know, just go to my bio or click in the description and you can find it out straight away. And just remember, the main point is be young, be happy, and be free people.